let's just go ahead and plug in the speaker, the microphone, the earbud. Okay. Yeah. We'll check and see. Sound check. Sound check. Um, what, gosh, what a life we're all having. I think I just made a video that was something about, well, I can look. And the video is called Worlds of Difficulty Changed Through Love. That's a nice title. It doesn't really go into the depth, but the video does, but the words don't. The video goes into the depth of difficulties that many of us are experiencing in the world. And it goes through kind of like my struggle. The first part of the video is my struggle. And then the next part of the video is my guide, Arlen, talking about what needs to happen and my feeling of resistance too. So, and it goes along the synchronicities. I had a conversation with a dear client friend of mine last night. It was a session, but it was a conversation, so I don't get paid for it. But this happens sometimes, not that often. But with this person, yeah, maybe more frequently. But the person is like 83 years old and is super conscious. So she's 10 years older than me, but she's super conscious and super articulate. And the conversation was somewhat about the pain in the joints that the person was experiencing that was, to me, so obviously related to gluten, because they were all the symptoms of inflammation that I tend to experience when I eat glutinous products. Now, not everybody is sensitive to gluten, but if you are sensitive to gluten, and if you're eating what's not organic grains, glutinous grains, then you're possibly eating, some people think this might be true, you're possibly eating Roundup, which they spray on a lot of these grains. I've never watched them do it. I'm not talking from experience. I'm talking from what happens when I eat foods that have chemicals in them and how my body reacts to those chemicals. And it might just be my perception of reality that's causing me these difficulties, or it might be that they actually are spraying chemicals on the corn, the wheat, the vegetables. And I don't know for sure, even if I'm buying organic things, that I can't go out and have them tested to make sure they don't have these chemicals on them, or the organic field is right next to the field that's being sprayed with chemicals. And do those chemicals fall straight down, or do some of them drift in the wind and go on the organic? And are they running tests? And do I believe anything anybody tells me? And I would say, no, I don't really believe anything. I don't. I basically believe my experience as my experience, and then I have always preferred the story that I was making up to the story that anyone else was making up for me. So if you're hearing me making up a story for you, then you can just click the button and go, bite off. Bite off more than you can chew. But I had a powerful day of healing yesterday. and I met all sorts of people that I felt love for. And I ended up, for, for those of you that really know me, that have maybe spent some time in your life with me, when I say these next words, they may somewhat surprise you. I attended a Bible study class. And having been, one person in the class said she had been raised Catholic, and I said, well, I was lowered Catholic. As far as I perceived, as all I could perceive, anything the Catholic Church offered me lowered my consciousness. And I was just like, no, 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 that makes no sense. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. But I'm not going to tell any of you that because I get punished for not believing the way you do. So I might get punished for stating this, that I felt that that particular religion, which I was lowered in, was grist for the mill of my saying, no, not that reality. I want a bigger one. And I have a bigger one. And I'm sticking with it. And it's okay if people want smaller ones, but it was fun on some levels to be in this Bible study group. And a whole bunch of one of my oldest, dearest friends, she's not old per se, I think she's younger than me, but she has been a client of mine since 1984. So, how many people do you have in your life that you've been actually working on and working with as a healer person for 40 years? It's kind of mind-blowing. I've been through generations of people. I've worked with I still do. The woman that I spoke with last night brought her son into me. I'm guessing he was 17, and I'm just guessing I know it was in my newer office, which I started in 93, so I'm guessing it was in 93. So now 93, 2003, 2013, 2023, so it's 30 years ago. I think he was 17. He would tell me. I'm going to see him while I'm here. I was talking to his mom last night. So he was 17, so he's maybe 47. And his mother brought him into me, and he was diagnosed with kidney failure, and they were told that he was going to be on dialysis for the rest of his life because his kidneys had failed. And I worked on him a little bit, and his kidneys started working again. Now this can happen to anybody. It's a possibility. Anytime you do something, that there could be what you might appear to see as a positive outcome. So this happened. His kidneys just began working again. People could say, that was a miracle. They could say, was Jesus involved? And I could say, I don't remember. I don't remember if Jesus got involved. He very well might have. Maybe the person had a belief in Jesus, were praying to Jesus while I worked on them, and their prayers were answered while I worked on them. I don't know. He just got better. His kidneys just started working. They were diagnosed as never functional again, and then they started functioning. He had a different belief than they did at 17 years of age. And then I took care of him. Later on, he got married. I took care of his wife. And then he had a daughter from another relationship. And then he had twins from this marriage. And so he has 3 children overall, and I've worked on all of them consistently. I think the boys are maybe 15-ish, I'm guessing, 15. Twin boys, they look totally different. So they're not they're not, they're called, I think, fraternal twins, but I'm not sure. But they're not identical twins. So, they had their own little spaces inside the womb, and so they just look like from a different family in some ways. They're just very different and very likable. I love those boys. I got them into disc golf a little bit, but that's another story. But anyway, when you do something for a long period of time and you do it well and you make heart connections with people, you get to do it with their family members, you get to do it with their friends, you get to do it with many people that they know, and that just grows and grows and grows. And you come back and you hang out with people in a room, one of whom is this person you've worked with for 40 years, whose car you're driving, her other car you're driving while you're here, because she just loaned it to you. Okay, I'm just going to see how long I've been yapping already. 11 minutes I've been yapping already. And so I'm going to not, in this video, I'm not going to do the whole tarot card layout I did for all the people surrounding me, surrounding Kim, helping Kim to feel supported, to make the changes he wants to make, to get the care he wants to have the experience that he wants to have. So there's as many people supporting Kim to have the experience that he wants, all of whom are attempting to pull back from directing him one way or another, which is difficult because you just want him to do this thing and he just won't. His choice. So I did this reading. I did a video earlier. At some point, my guide came in and Arlen worked with the energies I was working with. And then afterwards, I did this tarot reading, which I'm probably going to go through the whole thing, so I have my record of what took place. But the last card I pulled was the card for Arlen's involvement in our group. And I got the Moon card, which is a trump card, or a Major Arcana card, for those of you who are now offended by the word Trump. I'm not one of them, but there are some that are just offended by the word, that whole thing. I just like not choosing that. It is the current reality. I'm loving it. This is what the instruction I had was: work with the difficulties of the world with love. And, although it seems a little bit too kumbaya for me, it was Arlen's instruction, so I'm going to give it a go, because I was feeling fairly messed up from the dream world, where I was just trying to figure out a reality that I could put into place so that this thing that was going on was just not so difficult. And that whole cranking thing is the difficulty. Like, I asked myself the question, do you trust the universe? I'm like, not really. If I trusted the universe, I wouldn't be trying to create a different reality that seemed to work better than this one that the universe created that just doesn't seem to be working at all. I'm right there. If you're feeling that I don't know, I could trust this consciousness. Some people call this consciousness God. And I, through the instructions of my spiritual teachers in the dream school, I stated out loud, and I'm going to tell you what I said so you can know, like, oh, I don't know if I trust him, or, whoa, maybe I trust him more. Whatever you make up from it, I was told to state out loud, I disconnect from the matrix of God surrounding the planet. And a matrix is a thought form. So I stated out loud, I disconnect from the matrix of God surrounding the planet, and whoosh, 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 that matrix, that thought form disappeared, And then I was able to experience the oneness. I feel like I'm at a sporting event. Hey, hey, hey ho, hey, hey ho. I'm only interested in being an aspect of the oneness. I'm not interested in being part of any religious organization other than showing up. If there's healing to be done by holding a space for people to let go, I'll do it. And I did it yesterday, and it was magnificent for both myself and the two people I worked with who are probably watching this video and going like, oh, that's the thing he did with us yesterday. I disconnect from the matrix of God surrounding the planet. And you know, I hesitated when I was asked to do this back in 2011 or whatever, to disconnect from the matrix of God. I thought, but what if he smites me? What if he smites me? What if he strikes me down? What if he gives me some disease to make me feel punished because I disconnected from this matrix? And I finally said, okay, I'll do it. And I did it. And I didn't get smote down. Although currently I'm kind of feeling smoted. Oh, man. I love interacting with you, those who I interact with. I love when you write a comment that says, that was helpful, but I more love when you write a comment that says, wow, that helped shift me in this way. If it did, mention it. If you have like, wow, I felt healed when you said blah, make a comment. Let other people know how you were affected. Yeah, just change. Just change when you feel like it. Okay, so we're going straight to the moon. The Mayan calendar is based on the moon. 28 days, 13 moons, 13 vibrations. And the new month starts Friday. So the moon, the planet that it's related to is Pisces. And this is the card I got for related to Arlen. It's about beliefs, dreams, the subconscious, spirituality, and collectives. That alone is mind-blowing to me because this is what I've been working with. The dreams, our beliefs, limiting beliefs. This is going to happen, and then we're going to do this, and everybody's going to be deported. And then it's like, whoa, disconnect from that matrix of thought. Where did that thought come from? Probably from your television. And depending on whether you perceive yourself to be a Republican or a Democrat, you're getting the information that when they put it along your side and you go, oh, I want to know about that, I want to know about that, I want to know about that, they're making up a perceived reality of you, and then they just feed that reality back to you. And you go, yeah, but everything is telling me that whatever. And if you're a Republican, it's telling you like, happy days are here again. And if you're a Democrat, you might be going like, the world's coming to an end, and we're all going to be murdered in our sleep. I don't know what they're really thinking, but this just could be it. We're all going to be murdered in our sleep and then deported. And nothing's ever going to be good again because it was only good because of Democrats. And that might have been your experience. It hasn't necessarily been mine, but I think it's useful for me to not take sides, to not connect with the matrix of thought currently being fed around the world of what's going to happen next, and to really separate oneself from that and realize no matter what happens in the world, it will be helped through me living in my heart and loving and not getting lost in the thought forms of God or anything else. If they're thought forms, beliefs, whatever, they don't relate to my experience. My experience is what I experience inside myself. And if I'm inside myself in my head, I have that experience. If I'm inside myself in emotions, I have that experience. And if I'm inside myself, inside my clear heart, I have that experience. And when I have that experience, I think this is a good experience. I might want to repeat it. Okay, so the moon is the number 9 because it's the 18th card in the major arcana, and so at 8 and 1 become 9. So its number is 9, and it has to do with observation, personal responsibility, collective growth, expansion, and clarity. I'm just going to look at that because that's actually the card that one of the space holders, they got the 9 of Wands, which is about strength. And I just read those same words about 9. Observation, personal responsibility, collective growth, expansion, and clarity. So the key words, so these to me, I drew this card with Arlen's support because it was representing Arlen's consciousness for us. And you can watch the earlier video where Arlen just speaks to us. I like him very much. His name, so, but his being I like. And I'll learn to love his name. But the key words are strange wisdom, uncertainty, exploration, internal shadows, confrontation, fantasy and reality, dreams, illusion, embracing inner wildness, cycles, growth and discovery, exploration, introspection, reflection, surrender, instinct, ferocity, freedom from convention, distance. This will be the last piece of this video. What do you think of my hair video? We've rediscovered ourselves. I'm gonna have, if you will, I'm gonna have Arlen read this to you. Okay, he says there's no need. We've rediscovered ourselves. We've reclaimed our future. And now move forward. Eager to pursue those remembered dreams. But as we slip into the shadows, our newfound starlight grows dim. Even if we know where we want to end up, sometimes the path can grow murky and we can get lost along the way. These are my words. Thank you, Arlen, for another message. As the pale light of the moon strips the world of color, so he wanted me to read it, so I would possibly start tearing up at these words, which are words of Arlen loving me by assisting me to change. As the pale light of the moon strips the world of color and twists our grasp on reality, our most fantastical visions and deepest fears reveal themselves in the darkening shadows. We must rely on our intuition. How many times have I said that? Our sense of wisdom and truth, to help us remember who we are, to keep us from getting too caught up in what ifs. The mind's perceptions become clouded by the heart's fears, and as emotion takes over, the stumble, consider, work overtime to see clearly, even as we crave surrender, even as we long to just run free. We have so few opportunities to completely succumb to our wildness, to go feral, to allow instinct to take over. And in giving ourselves permission to explore this untamed part of ourselves, in honoring our impulses and running barefoot through the forest and screaming at the sky, we make fierceness a part of our natural cycle. We acknowledge the need for release, fantasy, illumination. We recognize that tension and friction are not inherently bad things, and that discomfort can help us understand our own needs and desires with sharp new clarity. The dance between dreams and reality, this odd and otherworldly exploration, this diving into our own subconscious and seeing what kinds of wildness dwell within us, are all part of our peculiar, abstract, cyclical strangeness of the moon. May this serve you well. It's been a pleasure to be with you.